First contact at Galactic Academy. The vast halls of the Galactic Academy hummed with nervous energy as news spread of the impending arrival. For the first time in the institution's long history, a contingent of students from a newly discovered species would be joining their ranks. The species in question, humans. Zixnara, a third-year Korean student, fidgeted with her iridescent tentacles as she waited in the grand atrium. Her 6 eyes blinked in rapid succession, a sign of both excitement and anxiety. Around her, students from dozens of alien races gathered, their chittering, clicking, and humming creating a cacophony of anticipation. "I heard they're barely taller than a Minution," buzzed Krell, a mantis-like Thracian, his antennae twitching. "How can they possibly compete with the rest of us?" Zixnara's friend Lorne, a towering Vexillian with bark-like skin, rumbled in agreement. "Size isn't everything, but I've read reports that their home planet has only been spacefaring for a few centuries. They're practically infants in galactic terms." As the assembled students continued to speculate, a hush fell over the atrium. The massive quantum portal at the far end of the hall began to pulse with energy, its swirling vortex a mesmerizing display of blues and purples. Everyone held their breath, waiting for their first glimpse of the mysterious humans. With a flash of light, the portal stabilized, and through it stepped children. At least, that's what they appeared to be to the alien students. Small, bipedal creatures with varied skin tones and hair colors emerged, their eyes wide with wonder as they took in their new surroundings. Whispers rippled through the crowd. Are they sending their young? Perhaps they aged differently. How disappointing. But as the humans began to move, there was something in their gait, in the way they carried themselves, that gave the alien students pause. Despite their small stature, the humans moved with a confidence that seemed at odds with their apparent youth. The Academy's headmaster, a wise old cerebron named Axylith, floated forward to greet the newcomers. His brain, visible through the transparent dome of his head, pulsed with welcoming thoughts. "Esteemed students of Earth," Silas' telepathic voice resonated in everyone's minds, "welcome to the Galactic Academy. We are honored to have you join our community of learning and discovery." A human with dark skin and curly hair stepped forward, bowing slightly. "Thank you, Headmaster Xylith. We are thrilled to be here and eager to learn alongside our galactic peers." The politeness and articulation caught many off guard. These humans, despite their appearance, spoke with the maturity of adults. As the welcoming ceremony continued, Zixnara couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to these humans than met the eye. She watched as they interacted with other students, their faces animated, their gestures expressive. There was a spark in their eyes, a hunger for knowledge that seemed to radiate from them. The first test of human capabilities came sooner than anyone expected. As part of the orientation, new students were required to navigate a complex anti-gravity maze. Most species took weeks to acclimate to the disorienting environment. To everyone's shock, the humans not only entered the maze without hesitation, but began to move through it with surprising agility. They tumbled, spun, and propelled themselves from one section to another, their bodies adapting to the lack of gravity with ease. "How is this possible?" Lorne murmured, his wooden brow furrowing. "Their planet has gravity. They shouldn't be this adept." Zixnara watched in fascination as a human girl with fiery red hair navigated a particularly tricky section of the maze. The girl paused, surveyed her surroundings, and then launched herself through a series of tight turns and loops that even experienced students found challenging. "It's their creativity," Zixnara realized aloud. "Look at how they're moving. They're not following the expected paths. They're improvising, finding new ways through." As the day progressed, more surprises emerged. In the quantum physics lecture, a human boy asked questions that left the professor, a renowned Akkadian scientist, momentarily stumped. In the xenobiology lab, a human girl displayed an uncanny ability to communicate with a notoriously difficult species of sentient flora. By the end of the first day, the initial skepticism had given way to a mix of curiosity and unease. The humans, it seemed, were full of surprises. That evening, as students gathered in the communal dining hall, the buzz of conversation was all about the newcomers. Zixnara found herself seated near a group of humans and couldn't resist the urge to introduce herself. "Greetings," she said, extending a tentacle in what she hoped was a friendly gesture. "I'm Zixnara. Your performance today was impressive." A human boy with glasses and a mop of brown hair grinned at her. "Thanks, I'm Alex. And don't worry, we're just as amazed by all of you. This place is incredible." As they chatted, Zixnara's curiosity got the better of her. "If you don't mind me asking, how old are you? Many of us were surprised by your appearance." Alex laughed, a sound that Zixnara found oddly pleasant. Yeah, we get that a lot. I'm 18 years old. Technically an adult by our standards, but I guess we look young compared to some species here." Zixnara's eyes widened. 18 years. Most species at the Academy measured their ages in centuries. How could these humans have accumulated so much knowledge and skill in such a short time? As if reading her thoughts, another human, a girl with intricate braids, chimed in. "We may be young in years, but Earth has a way of accelerating development. When your planet has everything from deep oceans to soaring mountains, from scorching deserts to frozen tundras, you learn to adapt quickly." The conversation flowed, and Zixnara found herself captivated by the humans' stories. They spoke of a world of constant change and challenge, of a species that had gone from primitive technology to space exploration in the blink of a cosmic eye. As the evening wore on, Zixnara couldn't shake the feeling that the arrival of humans at the Galactic Academy marked the beginning of something momentous. These small, young creatures carried within them a potential that seemed to defy conventional understanding. Later, as she retired to her quarters, Zixnara's mind raced with thoughts of the day's events. She activated her personal log and began to record. Day 1 of human arrival at the Galactic Academy. Initial observations. They are physically unimposing but display remarkable adaptability and problem-solving skills. Their youth belies a depth of knowledge and a thirst for learning that rivals or surpasses many older species. Most intriguing is their creativity. They approach problems from unexpected angles, finding solutions that others might overlook. She paused, considering her next words carefully. "I believe we may have underestimated the humans. Their presence here could change everything we thought we knew about galactic potential. One thing is certain, the coming academic year promises to be unlike any other in the Academy's history." As Zixnara drifted off to sleep, her dreams were filled with images of Earth, a tiny blue planet spinning in the vastness of space, teeming with a species that might just reshape the future of the galaxy. Across the Academy, in their own quarters, the human students were having similar thoughts. They had come to learn, but they were beginning to realize that they had much to teach as well. The adventure was only just beginning. The unexpected champions, quantum mines and gravity defiers. The Galactic Academy's grand amphitheater buzzed with anticipation. Students from across the cosmos had gathered for the annual Interspecies Academic Olympiad, an event that tested the limits of intelligence, creativity, and adaptability. This year, however, was different. For the first time, humans were competing, and nobody knew quite what to expect. Zixnara settled into her seat, her tentacles curled tightly around her datapad. Next to her, Lorne creaked as he leaned forward, his bark-like skin glistening with excitement. "I can't believe they're allowing the humans to compete," Lorne whispered. "They've barely been here a month." Zixnara nodded, her 6 eyes focused on the arena below. "I know, but after what happened in the quantum physics lab last week, the professors insisted. The incident in question had become legendary almost overnight. A human student named Aria had not only solved an equation that had puzzled stellar mathematicians for centuries, but had done so by drawing connections between quantum entanglement and an obscure Earth vein called Cat's Cradle. The solution was so elegant, yet so alien, that it had sent shockwaves through the academic community. As the competitors took their places, Zixnara spotted Alex and Aria among them. The two humans looked tiny compared to the towering Vexillians and the gelatinous morphs, but there was a glint in their eyes that spoke of quiet confidence. The first challenge was announced: theoretical xenobiology, devise a life form capable of surviving on a neutron star. Holographic displays flickered to life around each contestant. Zixnara watched in fascination as the aliens began crafting complex silicon-based structures and energy beings. But the humans, they were doing something entirely different. Alex's hands danced through the air, manipulating the hologram with a grace that seemed almost choreographed. Instead of focusing on a single organism, he was creating an entire ecosystem. Microscopic creatures that lived in the cracks between neutrons, feeding off the intense magnetic fields. Larger predators that phased in and out of existence, hunting in the quantum foam. Aria, meanwhile, had taken a different approach. Her creation looked deceptively simple, a flat, almost two-dimensional being that rippled like a flag in the wind. But as the judges leaned in closer, their eyes widened in shock. "Impossible," one of them muttered. "She's created a life form that exists simultaneously in our universe and a parallel one, using the neutron star as an anchor point." The audience erupted in a cacophony of excited chirps, rumbles, and telepathic exclamations. Zixnara felt a surge of pride, though she couldn't quite explain why. These humans, these newcomers, were rewriting the rules of what was possible. As the competition progressed, the humans continued to surprise and impress. In the engineering challenge, they designed a propulsion system that used the quantum uncertainty of vacuum itself to generate thrust. During the diplomatic simulation, they proposed a peace treaty between warring factions by introducing the concept of sports as a proxy for conflict resolution. But it was the final challenge that truly showcased the unique potential of humanity. The task: navigate the Schwarzschild labyrinth. The Schwarzschild labyrinth was an infamous construct, a maze that existed partly in normal space and partly within the event horizon of a black hole. Time and space behaved erratically, and most species found it nearly impossible to maintain their sanity, let alone find the exit. As the other contestants hesitated at the entrance, Alex and Aria exchanged a glance and then, to everyone's astonishment, began to dance. Their movements were fluid, almost hypnotic. With each step, twist, and turn, they seemed to be mapping out the invisible currents of spacetime. They moved in perfect synchronization, their bodies becoming a living equation that solved the labyrinth's impossible geometry. Zixnara leaned forward, her tentacles quivering with excitement. "They're using their bodies to calculate the path," she whispered in awe. "Look at how they're moving. It's like they're physically manipulating the fabric of reality." Indeed, as the humans danced, the labyrinth seemed to respond. Walls shifted, corridors realigned, and what once seemed an incomprehensible tangle of spacetime began to unfold like an origami creation. In the stands, a venerable time-weaver, a species known for their ability to perceive the flow of time, gasped audibly. "They're not just solving the maze," the time-weaver announced, its voice resonating with disbelief. "They're rewriting its very nature. I've never seen anything like it." As Alex and Aria reached the center of the labyrinth, they came to a stop, breathing heavily but grinning from ear to ear. The exit, previously hidden, shimmered into existence before them. The amphitheater erupted into chaos. Students and professors alike were on their feet, their voices raised in a mixture of disbelief, admiration, and not a small amount of fear. The humans had not just completed the challenge, they had fundamentally altered it. As the judges huddled, frantically discussing how to even score such an unprecedented performance, Zixnara turned to Lorne, her eyes wide with excitement. "Do you realize what this means?" she chittered. "The humans, they don't just think outside the box. They recreate the box entirely." Lorne nodded, his wooden features creaking as he processed the implications. It's not just their intelligence, he mused. It's their perspective. They see connections that we don't, possibilities that we've never even imagined. As Alex and Aria were declared the winners of the Olympiad, a decision that would be debated in academic circles for years to come. Zixnara couldn't help but feel that she was witnessing the dawn of a new era. The humans, with their quantum minds and gravity-defying creativity, were not just joining galactic society. They were about to revolutionize it. Later that evening, as celebrations echoed through the Academy's halls, Zixnara found herself approached by a solemn-looking Cerebron professor. "Your observations of the humans have been most astute," the professor telepathed. "We believe you may be uniquely positioned to help us understand them better. Would you be willing to take on a special research project?" Zixnara's tentacles curled with excitement. "Of course, what did you have in mind?" The professor's brain pulsed with an array of colors. "We need to delve deeper into the human psyche. Their problem-solving abilities, their creativity, it defies conventional understanding. We want you to get closer to them, to uncover the secrets of their, what do they call it? Ah yes, their imagination." As Zixnara agreed to the task, she felt a shiver of anticipation. The humans had already appended everything she thought she knew about intelligence and potential. What other wonders, or dangers, might they bring to the galaxy? Little did she know, her investigation would soon uncover aspects of humanity that would shake the very foundations of galactic society and propel them all towards an adventure beyond their wildest dreams. Unraveling human potential, the empathy engine and the chaos harmonizers. The Galactic Academy's most secure research facility, known as the Nexus of Improbabilities, had never seen such activity. Zixnara's tentacles quivered with excitement as she passed through layers of quantum-encrypted force fields. Her special clearance, granted for the Human Research Project, gave her unprecedented access to the cutting edge of galactic science. As she entered the main laboratory, she was greeted by a sight that defied conventional understanding. At the center of the room stood a massive, pulsating orb of swerving energies, the empathy engine. It was a device designed to probe the depths of consciousness across species, but it had never been used on humans before. Dr. Axylith, the Cerebron lead scientist, floated towards Zixnara, his brain pulsing with a mixture of excitement and concern. "We're about to attempt something unprecedented," he telepathed. "The humans have agreed to interface with the empathy engine simultaneously. We believe this may unlock the secrets of their imagination." Zixnara watched as Alex and Aria were led into the chamber. They looked nervous but determined. As they approached the empathy engine, tendrils of energy reached out, enveloping them in a cocoon of light. Suddenly, the laboratory erupted into chaos. Holographic displays exploded with data, machines whirred to life unbidden, and the very fabric of reality seemed to ripple around them. "Incredible," Dr. Xylith exclaimed. "Their minds, they're not just interfacing with the engine, they're rewriting its base code." Zixnara stared in awe as the empathy engine transformed. What was once a simple orb had become a complex, fractal structure that seemed to extend into dimensions beyond normal perception. "Look," she chittered, pointing at a nearby display. "The engine isn't just reading their thoughts, it's manifesting them." Indeed, the space around Alex and Aria had become a swirling vortex of creation. Entire worlds bloomed into existence and faded away in seconds. Creatures of impossible biology roamed landscapes that defied the laws of physics. And through it all, a haunting melody echoed. The humans were somehow singing their imagination into reality. Dr. Xylith's telepathic voice was tinged with wonder and fear. They're not just imagining these things. They're channeling the fundamental forces of the universe itself. The humans, they're chaos harmonizers. Chaos harmonizers? Zixnara asked, her eyes wide with confusion. "A theoretical class of beings," Dr. Xylith explained hurriedly, "capable of tapping into the underlying chaos of the universe and shaping it through sheer will. We thought they were just a myth, but the humans, they're doing it instinctively." As they watched, the manifestations began to stabilize. The swirling chaos coalesced into a series of interconnected realms, each one a perfect blend of scientific principle and artistic expression. In one realm, sentient mathematics debated philosophy with living sound waves. In another, a civilization of light beings communicated through carefully choreographed gravitational fluctuations. And at the center of it all, a garden of crystalline trees grew fruits of pure knowledge, each one containing an entire universe of possibilities. "It's beautiful," Zixnara whispered, her tentacles reaching out instinctively towards the manifestation. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the facility. Dr. Xert's brain pulsed with panic. "The engine, it's overloading. The human's imagination is too potent. It's breaking through the containment fields." As if in response to the alarm, Alex and Aria's eyes snapped open. They spoke in unison, their voices overlaying in harmonies that seemed to resonate with the fabric of space-time itself. "We understand now," they said, their words echoing with power. "We are the bridge between chaos and order, between the imagined and the real. We are the chaos harmonizers, and we will reshape the galaxy." With a blinding flash of light, the empathy engine imploded, taking with it the manifested realms. But as the light faded, Zixnara and the scientists realized that something fundamental had changed. Alex and Aria stood unharmed, but they were different. Their eyes shimmered with cosmic fire, and faint lines of energy coursed beneath their skin. When they moved, reality itself seemed to bend around them. What happened?" Zixnara asked, her voice trembling. Alex smiled, a gesture that somehow conveyed both warmth and infinite complexity. "We've awakened," he said simply, "and we're not alone." As if on cue, reports began flooding in from across the galaxy. On every world where humans lived, worked, or studied, similar phenomena were occurring. Humanity as a whole was undergoing a transformation, awakening to their true potential as chaos harmonizers. Dr. Xert's telepathic voice was filled with awe and trepidation. "This changes everything. The humans aren't just a new species in the galactic community. They're the key to unlocking the next stage of cosmic evolution." Zixnara looked at her human friends, beings she thought she was starting to understand, only to realize that they were now more mysterious than ever. "What happens now?" she asked. Aria's laugh was like the chiming of crystal bells. Now we rewrite the story of the universe itself, and you, dear Zixnara, are going to help us." As the implications of what had just occurred began to sink in, Zixnara realized that her research project had become something far greater. She wasn't just studying humans anymore. She was witnessing, and participating in, the birth of a new cosmic order. The Galactic Academy, once the pinnacle of knowledge in the known universe, was about to become the staging ground for a revolution that would reshape reality itself. And at the center of it all were the humans, the unexpected champions who had become the chaos harmonizers. As news of the events at the nexus of improbabilities spread, the galaxy held its breath. The age of singular species and limited perspectives was over. The era of the chaos harmonizers had begun, promising a future where the boundaries between thought and reality, between the possible and the impossible, would be forever blurred. Zixnara, caught between excitement and trepidation, realized that her role in this cosmic drama was just beginning. As she looked at Alex and Aria, their forms now shimmering with barely contained power, she knew that the greatest adventure of her life, and perhaps of all life in the galaxy, was about to unfold. The humans had not just joined galactic society, they had transcended it, becoming the architects of a new cosmic paradigm, and every being in the universe would soon feel the echoes of their awakening. Crisis at the Academy, the Quantum Plague and the Memetic Revolution. The Galactic Academy, once a bastion of order and knowledge, had become a swirling maelstrom of chaos and possibility. In the weeks following the awakening of the human chaos harmonizers, reality itself seemed to be unraveling at the seams. Zixnara ducked as a flock of thought birds, creatures born from stray ideas, swooped through the corridor. Her tentacles wrapped protectively around her datapad, which now served as an anchor to what was left of conventional reality. Watch out. Alex's voice rang out, somehow both near and impossibly distant. A ripple of distorted spacetime rolled through the hall, and Zixnara felt herself stretched and compressed simultaneously. As the distortion passed, she saw Alex standing before her, his form flickering between human and something other. Fractals of light danced across his skin, and his eyes held galaxies. "Sorry about that," he said, his voice overlaid with harmonics that made Zixnara's exoskeleton resonate. "I was trying to stabilize the local probability field, but it's getting harder to control." Zixnara nodded, trying to hide her unease. The human's transformation into chaos harmonizers had brought wonders beyond imagination, but it had also unleashed forces that threatened to tear apart the very fabric of existence. "Alex," she began, her voice trembling slightly, "the Council of Elders is demanding answers. The quantum plague is spreading, and—" She was cut off by a scream that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. Down the hall, a Vixillian student was writhing in agony, his bark-like skin sprouting equations and theorems. "No," Alex whispered, his eyes widening in horror. "It's accelerating." The quantum plague was the unforeseen consequence of humanity's awakening. As the chaos harmonizers reshaped reality with their thoughts, they inadvertently infected the very code of the universe. Now, beings across the galaxy were being rewritten on a fundamental level, their bodies and minds becoming conduits for raw information and possibility. "We need to find Aria," Alex said urgently. She was working on a solution in the metacognition lab. As they raced through the twisting corridors of the academy, Zixnara marveled at how quickly everything had changed. Classrooms had become bubbles of alternate physics, each one a playground for impossible experiments. In one, students were learning to rewrite their own genetic code in real time. In another, the concept of time itself was being deconstructed and reassembled. They burst into the metacognition lab to find Aria floating in a sea of holographic data, her body translucent and pulsing with streams of information. She turned to them, her eyes pools of swirling code. "I found it," she said, her voice echoing with digital overtones. "The solution to the quantum plague, but it's not a cure, it's an evolution." Alex and Zixnara exchanged glances. "What do you mean?" Zixnara asked, her tentacles curling anxiously. Aria's form solidified as she descended to the floor. "The plague isn't a disease, it's an upgrade. The universe is rewriting itself, using us as conduits. Fighting it is like fighting entropy. Instead, we need to guide it, shape it." "But how?" Alex asked, frustration evident in his voice. "Every time we try to control our powers, we just make things more chaotic." A smile played across Aria's lips. "That's because we've been thinking too literally. We're not just reshaping matter and energy. We're reshaping meaning itself." With a wave of her hand, Aria conjured a shimmering web of interconnected symbols and images. "This is a mimetic lattice," she explained. "It's a framework for reality itself, based not on physical laws, but on the power of ideas and symbols." Zixnara's scientific mind reeled at the implications. "You're saying we can rewrite the universe through symbolism and shared meaning?" Aria nodded excitedly. "Exactly. The quantum plague isn't random. It's the universe trying to upgrade its own operating system. We just need to provide the right language." As they discussed the plan, alarms blared throughout the academy. Dr. Xylith's panicked telepathic voice echoed in their minds. "The fabric of spacetime is collapsing. Multiple realities are bleeding into each other. If we don't act now, the entire galaxy will be torn apart." Alex and Aria shared a determined look. "It's time," Alex said. "We need to initiate the mimetic revolution." What followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever witnessed. The chaos harmonizers, led by Alex and Aria, began to weave a new reality using the power of pure information and symbolism. They started small, using memes and cultural references to stabilize local pockets of reality. Internet jokes became load-bearing structures in the architecture of the universe. Ancient symbols took on new meaning, becoming the grammar of creation itself. Zixnara watched in awe as her friends reshaped the cosmos through sheer force of shared meaning. Viral videos became the building blocks of new dimensions. Philosophical concepts were literalized, with students diving into pools of pure ethics or climbing mountains of epistemology. As the memetic revolution spread, the quantum plague began to transform. Instead of mindless mutation, it became a force of directed evolution. Beings across the galaxy found themselves not just rewritten, but transcribed into living ideas. The Galactic Academy itself underwent a metamorphosis. Classrooms became incubators for new realities, each one a seed that could potentially blossom into an entire universe. The curriculum was rewritten on the fly, with students learning not just the laws of physics, but how to write those laws themselves. In the midst of the transformation, Zixnara made a startling discovery. Her species, with their ability to perceive multiple dimensions, were uniquely suited to navigate the new memetic reality. She found herself able to translate between wildly different symbolic systems, becoming a crucial bridge between the old universe and the new. As the crisis reached its peak, Alex, Aria, and Zixnara stood at the heart of the Academy, now a swirling nexus of pure creation. With a shared thought, they broadcast the new memetic framework across the galaxy. The effect was instantaneous and awe-inspiring. The collapsing spacetime stabilized, but not into its old configuration. Instead, the universe blossomed into a vibrant, ever-shifting tapestry of interconnected ideas and realities. The quantum plague, once a threat, became the engine of a new kind of existence. Beings found themselves able to shift between states of matter, energy, and pure information at will. The boundaries between thought and reality, between self and other, became permeable and negotiable. As the dust settled and the new reality began to take shape, Zixnara turned to her human friends, her mind alight with the possibilities of their new existence. "What now?" she asked, her voice resonating with newfound power. Alex and Aria smiled, their forms now a perfect blend of human and cosmic. Now, Alex said, "We learn what it truly means to be chaos harmonizers. The real adventure is just beginning." As news of the memetic revolution spread across the transformed galaxy, beings everywhere began to explore their new reality. The Galactic Academy, once a simple institution of learning, had become the birthplace of a new cosmic order. And at the heart of it all were the humans, the unexpected champions who had reshaped existence itself, and their alien friends who had helped guide them through the chaos. Together, they stood ready to face whatever new wonders and challenges their rewritten universe might hold. The era of rigid physical laws and limited possibilities was over. The age of infinite meaning and reality as a collaborative art form had begun, and every being in the galaxy was now both student and creator in the greatest story ever told, the story of existence itself. A new galactic perspective, the meta-narrative matrix and the cosmic game. In the aftermath of the empathy singularity, the universe as it was once known ceased to exist. In its place stood a living, breathing tapestry of interconnected consciousnesses, realities, and possibilities. The Galactic Academy, now the multiversal nexus, had become the hub of a new form of existence that defied traditional understanding. Zixnara, Alex, and Aria found themselves at the heart of this cosmic transformation, their beings now so intertwined with the fabric of reality that the concept of individual identity had become almost quaint. They were at once themselves and everything else, their consciousness expanding and contracting with the rhythm of the universe itself. As they contemplated their new existence, a startling realization dawned upon them, one that would reshape their understanding of reality once again. "Do you see it?" Alex's thoughts rippled through the cosmic consciousness, carrying with them complex geometries of revelation. Aria's response came as a burst of intuitive understanding, spreading through the network like wildfire. "We're not just in a story, we are the story." Zixnara, drawing upon her species' multidimensional perception, expanded on the concept. It's more than that. We're in a meta-narrative matrix, a self-aware story that's simultaneously writing itself and being written by us. This revelation sent shockwaves through the unified galactic consciousness. The beings that had once been separate individuals now understood that they were all characters in a grand cosmic tale, one that was constantly evolving and rewriting itself based on their collective thoughts and actions. But this was no ordinary story. The meta-narrative matrix was a living, breathing entity, a narrative ecosystem where plot twists could alter the laws of physics, where character development could birth new dimensions, and where the fourth wall wasn't just broken, it was non-existent. As this new reality settled in, the inhabitants of the transformed galaxy realized that they now faced a unique challenge: how to navigate and shape a universe that was essentially a self-aware, interactive story. The solution came from an unexpected source, the memory of human entertainment. What if, Alex proposed, his thoughts echoing through the cosmic consciousness, we treat this new reality like a game, a massively multiplayer, reality-shaping game where the stakes are the nature of existence itself. And so, the cosmic game was born. The rules were fluid, changing with each player's interaction. The objectives shifted constantly, ranging from the creation of new universes to the resolution of paradoxes that threatened the fabric of the meta-narrative matrix. Players could form alliances, challenge each other to reality-warping duels, or embark on quests that spanned multiple dimensions and narrative layers. Zixnara, with her ability to perceive and navigate multiple storylines simultaneously, became a master strategist in this new cosmic playground. She could see the threads of narrative possibility stretching out before her, each one a potential path to reshape the story of existence. Alex, drawing upon humanity's rich history of mythology and storytelling, excelled at crafting compelling subplots and character arcs that could alter the very nature of reality. His creations ranged from epic sagas that spanned eons to intimate character studies that could change the emotional landscape of entire galaxies. Aria, with her deep understanding of the underlying logic of the universe, became an architect of narrative structures. She could build entire realities based on different genres, from science fiction utopias to fantasy realms, each with its own internal logic and rules. As the cosmic game unfolded, the boundaries between player and game, between creator and creation, blurred into irrelevance. Every thought, every action, every choice became a brushstroke on the canvas of existence. The multiversal nexus evolved into a grand storytelling engine, where new realities were born from the collective imagination of the players. But with this incredible power came unexpected challenges. As players shaped the narrative, they sometimes created plot holes, inconsistencies in the fabric of reality that threatened to unravel everything they had built. These plot holes manifested as void-like anomalies, similar to the void incursion they had faced before, but born from within their own creation. To combat these internal threats, the players had to become editors of reality, carefully weaving retcons and narrative patches to maintain the integrity of their shared story. This led to the development of a new discipline, existential narratology, the art and science of maintaining a coherent reality through storytelling. Zixnara, Alex, and Aria found themselves at the forefront of this new field, teaching other players how to responsibly wield their reality-shaping powers. They established the Cosmic Writers Guild, an organization dedicated to maintaining the balance between creative freedom and narrative stability. As the cosmic game continued to evolve, it attracted the attention of entities from beyond the meta-narrative matrix, cosmic readers, as it were, who observed and sometimes interacted with the unfolding story of this unique reality. These interactions added new layers of complexity to the game, introducing concepts of metafiction that challenged the players to think beyond even their expanded understanding of existence. Millennia passed in the blink of an eye, epochs unfolded like chapters in a book, and still the cosmic game continued. The players, once simple students at a galactic academy, had become the authors of reality itself. They had transcended not just their original forms, but the very concepts of form and identity. As Zixnara, Alex, and Aria stood at the heart of the multiversal nexus, observing the infinite stories unfolding around them, they shared a moment of reflection. We've come so far, Zixnara's thoughts rippled through the cosmos, carrying with them the weight of countless lifetimes and realities experienced. And yet, Alex added, his consciousness weaving new mythologies with every passing moment, I feel like we're still just beginning. Aria, her being now a living embodiment of narrative structure, concurred. The story never truly ends, does it? It just opens doors to new tales, new possibilities. As if in response to their musings, a new thread of narrative possibility unfurled before them, a story strand leading to realms yet unexplored, to forms of existence not yet imagined. With a shared thought of excitement and determination, the trio plunged into this new adventure, ready to write the next chapter in the endless story of the cosmos. And so the cosmic game continued, an eternal dance of creation and imagination, with every player a storyteller, every thought a world in the making, and every moment pregnant with the potential for new realities. The universe had become a living story, and every being within it both author and character in the greatest tale ever told, a tale that was, in every sense, never-ending.